So my name is Kaori, and together, my colleague Imma over there, and then with her, we are representing CREAF. It's a Center for Ecological Research and Forestry Applications. And that's why we are here. Also, we're representing EuroGEO Green Deal Data Space Action Group. And just to focus on a bit of some thematic topic, and then we picked this interoperability of forest monitoring data and comparing regional, national, and European scales. So I think introduction is just that. Okay. So just, yeah, quick outline. First, I'm going to talk a little bit about EuroGEO Green Deal Data Space Action Group. And then we'd like to highlight two projects. These projects are member of this action group. And SAGE is the one, and I'm going to present. And Imma will present this Open Earth Monitor Cyber Infrastructure project. So hopefully it's, yeah, legible. Yes, so I'm sure most of you know about the European Green Deal data space, or at least Green Deal, European Green Deal, let's say. It's set to transform society and economy to combat climate change. And then it's relevant challenges. For example, here, it's in the diagram, I put some circular economy, zero pollution, and deforestation, and then biodiversity protection. So those are main challenges to achieve by 2050. And so data space is actually dedicated to support these priority Green Deal actions, and also serving as intersection between green transformation and digital transformation. That's why the data space is actually very important at this digital transformation as well. So these goals are aligned with other strategy, at least European scale, biodiversity strategy, and Paris Climate Agreement, this is international one, and then other United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So now, yeah, finally, we're going to talk about a bit of action group. 3 years ago now, yeah. So back in 2022 in Athens, just out of one of the workshop, and we were talking about Green Deal, and then spontaneously this action group was created and led by our senior researcher from CREAF. And so now we have this official website through Geo website, and also there has been a report, and also by our colleague Alba Borobia, and she collaborated with the JRC and Geo Knowledge Center on Earth observation. So you can have a look at this report through this link. So our missions coordinate the project activities. I'll show you the members, a list of members contributing to research and development to implement this data space for Green Deal. And mainly, we would like to select and validate these advancing technologies and standard implementations, and then proposed by those member projects. And as building blocks to implement this data space infrastructure. And somehow, as a result, we would like to agree on a common architecture, let's say blueprint, and also compatible with the geo infrastructure. So far in the past 3 years, there are some annual events that some of you might be familiar with the EuroGEO. And then, of course, this Open Earth Monitor, like every year, global workshop, and EGU Geoscience, European Geoscience Union, and ESA Digital Twin events and Data Spaces Symposium. And also, these past few years, European Commission, they started to do more cluster events. And by themes, in this case, the Green Deal, European Green Deal. So yeah, like quite often we presented, or our colleagues or member projects presented in these events. So this is a bit of promotion for the next workshop in Hague. So this will be in October from 13 to 15. And our action group is actually going to chair 2 sessions. So the first one, both of them on the second day, and the first one will focus on infrastructure standards and interoperability, which I will talk a little bit more on this. And the second one is more to do with this action group as a whole towards EuroGEO and to work on recommendations. So they're different and parallel sessions, but one of them will be on this Green Deal data space. So these are here is a list of members, 11 members since 2022. Not many, and unfortunately, 2 projects already ended in last year, the IFO and GREAT. And then this year actually is a turning point in a way that 6 projects are ending, and the top 6 projects and from EO for EU, and then going to clockwise to Iliad. So what's left here at the bottom, Open Earth Monitor, and then this leaf, it's SAGE, that I'm going to talk about later, and Data Spaces Support Center. So if any of you are interested, please contact Jomaso or us after this session. And you can always email to him and then show your interest. And then you could be university, you could be project or any associations. And then some potential new members that we have identified. So it could be research infrastructures that I asked someone, you a question about this EMBRI research infrastructures. So through these projects, the member projects, we did some surveys that what would be the challenges and to implement a Green Deal data space. So mainly these are the short list, but semantic interoperability and metadata could be semantic, but at the same time technical. And dealing with the stack, and then DCAT, GeoDCAT, and then GeoNetwork. And then always data integration, data harmonization coming from different sources. And this is going to be very complicated. And then not just a multi-source, but multi-dimension in terms of data cubes. And now the sensor and IoT data are becoming more, are emerging as new in situ could be observations. So integrating the existing APIs and also connectors, because this is for data space, we're going to combine not only APIs, and then depends on the case, how the data will be exchanged. So then standard data queries, and of course OGC APIs are open and then already commonly used globally. And OpenEO, some presentations in the morning, OpenEO was mentioned quite a bit. And then now it's integrated into Copernicus. So it's even better. They're becoming more and more interoperable when it comes to technical part. And then the last one, today I'm not talking so much about this, but authentication. So this is related to AI, the authentication, authorization infrastructure. So some recommendations for Green Deal data space or action group members. So to produce policy briefs. And this morning, I'm so happy to hear that and, this project that Open Earth Monitor that showed their interest to create this policy brief. So but this is important to demonstrate what the projects are doing, and then to have a direct impact on environmental policies. And then keep monitoring emerging technologies, and then support these technical, semantic challenges for interoperability. And I just listed some important infrastructures or initiatives that are relevant to geoinfrastructures. And you can probably see by the logo that you're familiar with some of them. And then the key is, yes, I have realized this morning the Copernicus data space ecosystem. At the beginning, we were not really sure how to use it, but now we know so much more that's being used, and then more and more interoperable with the other infrastructures. So yeah, and then join forces with other associations, because this is about data space. So Simple is a middleware, like mainly using connectors for data exchanges between data spaces. And then IDSA is an International Data Spaces Association. And DSSC, I already mentioned about data space support center. And GaiaX, this is industry-based. And then Fireware as well, more data industry-based. So this is one of the results from 4 project members, that sister projects we call them, because they ended in August, but before that they actually published a policy brief to suggest some building blocks. Here, some building blocks mentioned the data harmonization and semantic interoperability, metadata, data exchange, governance. All of them are already mentioned in the challenges, but this is to summarize. And then, so before they end the project, so this is something to carry on for the new members, and then the new projects as well. So yeah, today I'm not going to this diagram, but you can see the data flow from data providers to users. And then if you're interested, please visit this at DOI. Yeah. So just to give them credit, AD4GD, B cubed, and a fair cube, and a usage. So finally, it's one of the members in the action group, SAGE, Data Space for Sustainable Green Europe. And this is a digital project, a digital program from the European Commission, and started in March, and for 3 years. And the main aim is to develop a federated, secure, and interoperable data space to support the European Green Deal. And this is built on the former GREAT project. It's not sister because it's ended already, but they were trying to make these demonstrations from existing communities and then projects. And they have deliverables and results, so SAGE will take their results and then carry on to finally implement this data space. So kickoff meeting was already in March in Warsaw after Data Spaces Symposium. And if you're interested, I listed the stakeholder workshops are available at European Commission's website. And then you can see some webinar from Data Space Support Center. So yeah, a lot of presentations are there as well to look into these use cases. But actual use cases in SAGE, the first one out of 10 pilots, the first one, forest transformation. This is what we're interested in today to talk about. And objectives, I listed some of them, but you can see the diagram, this green box, that how the data are exchanged within this sovereign data exchange. So a lot of things are involved, connectors and APIs that I mentioned earlier. And then vocabulary could be semantic part, identity provider, this is authentication, all these things are involved. And usage policies, and this is for they have to agree on exchanging data. So this is a big difference from what we know for open science. This is a huge difference. So yeah, using this privacy-aware and federated forest data space, we can support policy reporting. Some of them are confidential, and resilient planning, forest management practices, some permanent plots might be confidential. The exact locations might not be really published, but still can be shared based on some usage policies. So we try to make this data space, a forest data space, including national, regional, local forest data, and then still addressing the EU level requirements this morning, these forest strategy, deforestation regulation, forest monitorings, these were already mentioned this morning. So it's quite relevant for this project as well. And then more importantly, not just exchanging data, forest data, but combining remote sensing and then ground-based data, the in situ observations, and make it to another level to identify biodiversity conservation priorities. And in Spain, we have different inventory, forest inventory. The first one, the national level. And since 1965, so it's been 60 years, even though it's a 10-year cycle, it's continuous, and then last version is from 2008 and 19. And they're measured and collected in the field, and then categorized by province. So you can have an entire country-wise data, but then you can access and download by province as well. So it's centralized by Ministry of Agriculture at the national level, but you can still have some subsets of data. So Catalonia here in the map, the northeast, the French border, it's the NUTS level 2, and then consisted of 4 provinces. And so Catalonia has their regional inventory, but this was back in 1990s mainly. But this survey or this campaign produced allometric equations. These are quite important for forestry or forestry science. And then in addition to this national forest inventory, the biophysical parameters and functional types, and these were used as a complementary data. And CREAF-US and then other researchers all together, we could be an intermediary data provider because we have some forestry applications and services developed by our research groups. So we want to reuse these applications and the available data and then contribute to this forest data space using this open and then closed APIs and connectors. That's the idea. And then also applying innovations already implemented by action group projects. So at the beginning, the title was about interoperability. So we started comparing forest cover data. That's like a most basic data when it comes to forestry. So you can see pan-European, more probably familiar to all of you, the Copernicus, and the national level Spain and a regional Catalonia. So yeah, this is a good starting point that you can see about this, the spatial resolution and temporal resolution. We're going to combine this and then integrate and how we can use them. All of them or some of them, we have not set up the entire methodology to present today, but this is our starting point that I wanted to show today. And then maybe in the last row, the forest cover, this is interesting because it's related to semantic part as well. So my background is in forestry, so I'm always interested in, okay, what's the definition of forest? In your own country, probably you know. And Copernicus, I checked, it's 10% tree cover at least. And then, but this is actually matched with a FAO standard, international one. And then Spain uses this minimum 1 to 5, it's kind of like a very minimum. And then to call the forest cover, but you still have herbs and shrubs, and so you cannot delete these stands from the forest. So it's still called a forest cover, let's say. And then Catalonia as well, they put 5%. So yes, like I would be happy to discuss later, but since today we wanted to focus a bit more on this, the Open Earth Monitor project. So my colleague Ima will take over.
Good afternoon, everyone. As my colleague Kaori said, I am going to explain a little bit the collaboration that we are doing in the Work Package 5, particularly in the task 5.6 that is about the European biodiversity. Maybe you know that the leaf area index, there are common approach to obtain this. And here we have, for one side, the information that our colleague, the Institute of Technology of Zurich, provide in this project that is different maps of raster of leaf area index. And on the other hand, we have in Spanish a forestry inventory, and we try to compare the different sources. Here you can see distribution plots about the Catalonian area. Well, for the first analysis, we have to take into account these points. We use the latest version of the National Forestry Inventory that was executed between 2013 to 2016. And we use allometric equation relating to the diameter breast height to leaf dry weight. And we consider homogeneous forest from different species which occupies between 70 and 18% of the basal area for considering dominant species. And also we try to evaluate the leaf area index values of different tree species, of coniferous, deciduous, and evergreen. For that, for use the information that as I mentioned, of the forestry laboratory, for the forestry inventory in Spain, we use the Catalan Forestry Laboratory. This is a platform that is a joint initiative of CREAF and the Research Institute of Catalonia. That this is a platform that you can, is to make different information related to forest, to make available allometries, different kind of forest like biomass, canopy cover, and there are also information about meteorological data, drought, and different information. You can, it's open, you can find and you can access and query different information about different species and different tools. This platform is developed by the Ecosystem Modeling Facility. This is a unit that is focused on modeling facilities, activities, of CREAF. And yeah, they focus on ecosystems to climate change. At the moment, we don't have results to show today. At the moment, we analyze the information from Zurich, the University of Zurich, and from CREAF, and we try to think and to plan how to use this information, because at the moment the temporal coverage doesn't match. There are different years, and on the other hand, there is the spatial resolution. Maybe we can use the information about the Copernicus, that there is a product related to leaf area index. But here we compromise the resolution. No? Here there are 300 meters of resolution. The other option is use the MODIS that we have 500 meters. So at the moment we are think and research what we are doing in the future. I hope during these days we have the opportunity to speak with the partners of the Zurich, and for the future research, we plan to apply another allometric functions to obtain better correlations and about different other parameters. And we also we would like to use in the future digital hemispherical photographs. But at the moment, this is not possible, but we try to do with collaboration with other partners, maybe from Catalonia or maybe with other partners from Spain. And that's all for me. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for the presentation. And we have time for one question. Yeah, I have one. So I was just remembering in your slide about some recommendations. So the Green Deal Data Space Action Group made some recommendations about how to make the data more interoperable, more accessible. And I think this is actually, it's quite standard, the formats to make like open data available and share it across. But there are also some standard from the group or some guideline for the group of how to share like a private data or data that you cannot make open accessible, as for example, the forest inventory data. So my question is, the group also is working some guideline to help other projects to share this data in an open way because of privacy issues or something like that, or no?
So the policy brief already published, this is based on 4 projects, but it's Horizon project. So if you are in one of the Horizon projects, the open science is actually by default. So within this policy brief, it's not really specifically talk about this privacy, how to share sensitive data, but the SAGE, the first project I presented, is working on this. But so it's kind of continuous implementation, like, okay, first how to openly exchange data, but now we have to differentiate how to filter data based on what data. Then, so this policy brief itself probably will not explain enough to you if you're interested in only that part. But this is a guideline based on the 4 projects that are contributed. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Martin has a question.
Thanks. Very nice to see the use case for Catalonia with the NFA agency. I think we need much more of these, how we can integrate the 2 approaches. It was very nice to see. I have a question. So why you chose for LAI, right? Maybe it was a request by the stakeholder, but in NFI, we could think about other forest variables and Earth observation, right? You chose LAI. And how did you, maybe I didn't misunderstood it, how do you get the NFI to LAI? How do you make that? Because NFI, usually LAI, you don't measure. Maybe it's done here, but usually it's not typically a variable. So I was wondering how you can get from NFI to LAI.
Yeah, we decided to use LAI because the other partners from the Institute of Technology of Zurich, there are this variable, the LAI. Was this, maybe we choose another, but we are in contrast of this. And in the second question, can you help me?
Well, I think there was only one question.
No, the same.
If you calculate AI with the NFR.
Okay. Yes. So NFI itself doesn't have, allometric, actually does have allometric equations, but in terms of Catalonia, there are further research by CREAF groups. So we wanted to use our like a local, let's say by province, allometric equations, so you can get this leaf biomass. And then kind of based on all the allometric equations, we can actually draw LAI, leaf area index. Did I answer to your question? Okay. but we're still working on it. So yeah, like hopefully next year in Barcelona, the final event that we would like to present. Okay.
Okay, thank you.